Uganda, the destination of the month. Uganda, a land of pristine natural beauty and a tourist haven for visitors from all across the world, is a perfect getaway for travelers from the Middle East. Described as the Pearl of Africa by Winston Churchill, Uganda offers some of Africa's finest geographical and natural beauty. Source of the mighty River Nile and home to one of the greatest concentrations of primates on the planet, this magnificent country is a true African gem waiting to be discovered. Tourists can also witness the abundant wildlife that roams freely in the country's many national parks and jungle reserves. Adventure tourism is also a popular draw for those visiting Uganda. The country's gushing rivers provide excellent opportunities for whitewater rafting. Indeed, Uganda is a tourist paradise. World-class hotels, hospitable people, good climate, and an abundance of wildlife make Uganda one of the most attractive tourist destinations in East Africa. Just a 5-hour flight from Dubai and other GCC countries, Uganda is fast emerging as a popular destination for travelers from the Arabian Gulf region. Direct flights from the Middle East region to Uganda have improved air connectivity, which in turn has led to an increase in the number of tourists traveling to Uganda from Middle East countries like the United Arab Emirates. The editorial team from the Holiday Guide magazine traveled across Uganda to experience and explore the various tourist attractions in Uganda. As soon as we landed in Uganda's picturesque airport at Entebbe, we found ourselves surrounded by open vistas, lush green countryside, and the hospitality of the local people. After spending a night in Kampala, we found ourselves driving through Uganda's lush green countryside to our destination, the Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, to meet the endangered and elusive mountain gorillas. Surprisingly, the road network in Uganda is excellent. not something one would expect in most African countries. Our drive across Uganda was an enjoyable experience as we passed through small villages and towns and observed the simple lifestyle of people living in rural Uganda. After our initial briefing, the trek up to the gorillas took us through the forest, and we soon realized why they call it the impenetrable forest. We had to literally make our way through this dense forest to reach the home of the endangered mountain gorillas. Our team was led by a group of experienced guides and park rangers who guided our team through this rough terrain and helped us navigate through the thick forest. Coming face to face with these elusive primates is an experience one cannot forget. Contrary to their false reputation as the marauding apes, these are in fact very docile and easygoing animals, often also known as the gentle giants. You can't find these endangered mountain gorillas in any zoo, as they cannot survive in captivity. In fact, these elusive animals can only be found and seen in Africa. That too in just 3 countries: Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Rwanda. There are approximately just 786 mountain gorillas remaining in the world, with approximately half of them living in Uganda's Bwindi Impenetrable Forest and the adjoining Mgahinga Gorilla Park. Interestingly, these gorillas share 98% of their genetic composition with us humans.
Very relaxed. He's not disturbed, and he's in his natural habitat. And as you can see, since this is a dry season, the food is scarce, and that's why they have to go far and wide in search of food.
On our way to Fort Portal, we passed through the internationally acclaimed Ishasha sector of the famous Queen Elizabeth National Park, which is home to over 612 species of birds, buffaloes, elephants, and hippos, as well as the famous tree-climbing lions of Ishasha. It is somewhat uncommon for lions to climb trees. There are no more than 2 populations in the whole world of such lions that climb trees. One of these populations is found within the Ishasha sector, and the other population is found in Lake Manyara National Park in Tanzania. Driving through the Ishasha sector of the Queen Elizabeth National Park is an experience that will surely rejuvenate your senses. It was certainly a welcome break from the traffic jams on the Dubai-Sharjah road for our team. The highlight of our team's visit to Uganda this time has to be the beautiful views of Lake Bunyonyi, located in the district of Kabale in southwest Uganda. The calm waters of the lake reflect the verdant hills around it.
As you can see behind me, this is the picturesque Lake Bunyoni, and this is one of the famous tourist spots in Uganda, and it is a perfect getaway for Middle East tourists because the weather here is really nice.
Much of the shoreline around the lake and swathes of the larger of the 29 islands have been converted to subsistence farming. While this has no doubt robbed the lake of the deep green beauty of Uganda's natural vegetation, the snaking course of the water's edge and the rolling hills that overlook it are still undeniably stunning. Bunyonyi is one of the safest lakes in Africa. It has no hippos or crocodiles and is a perfect place for a splash in the water. A number of budget and luxury accommodation options are available around Lake Bunyonyi and in the nearby Kabale town. Whether you're on your way to visit the mountain gorillas in Bwindi Forest National Park or in Rwanda, Lake Bunyonyi is an ideal choice for a stopover. Located in western Uganda, Fort Portal is another town the Holiday Guide team visited on their 20-day trip across Uganda. The quaint little town has an old-world charm and boasts of some excellent hotels, like the Mountain of the Moon, where we stayed for the night. We visited the famous waterfall and caves at Maberiganyamwiru in Kabalore district, located 10 kilometers from Fort Portal. The area the waterfalls are located in is a beautiful spot with open spaces set in typical African rural settings. We had to walk through a jungle path up to the waterfall. The scenic beauty around the cave is food for the soul. Nature walks to the nearby crater lakes can also be arranged by your guide. However, despite the many tourist attractions in Uganda, the country has not realized the full benefits from its tourism industry as compared to its neighboring countries such as Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda. Uganda's total tourism receipts, for example, fell from 56 billion shillings to 42.6 billion shillings 3 years back, a loss of almost 25%. One of the main reasons for this could be the lack of effective promotional activities undertaken by government-appointed bodies like the Uganda Tourism Board. We asked some industry experts about their views on Uganda's tourism industry.
Gene, Uganda's tourism industry has been growing at a rapid pace in recent times. How do you see the industry growing in the coming years?
The tourism industry is on a very good trajectory. We have, as a country, we have what we call the National Development Plan 2, that is supposed to guide us on which sectors are going to lead the growth of the economy the next couple of years. And tourism is one of the 3 top sectors, so that being agriculture, tourism and minerals, oil and gas. So the fact that tourism has been recognized by government as one of the key drivers in the next few years of our economy shows that tourism is really growing. I think Uganda is what I would call, first of all, Uganda is the pearl of Africa. So we uniquely stand out, like Winston Churchill said. We stand out both in terms of the product that we have to offer. I mean, we have unrivaled products. We are the source of the Nile. We have half of the world's population of mountain gorillas. We have the big five in Uganda. Friendly people, the great weather, the amazing food. So I see Uganda as a giant that is now just beginning to find her footing.
Uganda's tourism industry has been growing steadily. I know you must know the history of Uganda and the turmoil and instability our country went through, which led to a slowdown in the tourism sector because of lack of infrastructure, lack of peace. But since the NRM government took over power, there's been quite a growth in the tourism sector. Years before, it was the fastest growing sector, and it was bringing in a lot of foreign exchange. But like I said, it was taken over by those events. But now with peace, which is a prerequisite to this sector, and stability and infrastructure development, there's been a lot of growth. And right now, as you might have heard in the previous interviews, the tourism sector has been contributing a lot, about 9% of Uganda's GDP. And I believe that in the years to come, it's even going to grow even better.
Uganda's tourism is a story of transformation, it's a story of growth, it's a story of discovery. In the last 10 years alone, our numbers have grown from 700,000 to 1.4 million visitors arriving. And that is exemplified also by the fact that Uganda has been known as the pearl of Africa. The reason why tourism has grown is because, number one, we have the best climate in the world, if you like. We are right on the equator, but we have snow on the equator. Much of the country is over 600 feet above sea level. So it gives us a both hot and cool climate. We are not humid. Because of our geographical location on the equator and the altitude, there's such an incidence of wildlife and nature. So the country is green for most of the year. We have about 4 rainfall seasons. The country is lush, is green, the people are friendly, the temperatures are fantastic, the business climate is very, very conducive. We are only 4 hours from South Africa, Southern Africa. We are 5 hours from the Middle East, 8 hours from Europe, 4 hours from West Africa. So we are very, very conveniently placed in terms of connectivity.
Travel and tourism contributes approximately 4% to the total GDP, or just $2 million, while agriculture contributes around 25%, industry 20%, and services 54%. However, all this is about to change as Uganda's government plans to implement new policies to promote its tourism industry in new and emerging markets like the Middle East. In 2016, the Ministry of Finance almost doubled its budget for tourism promotion to 30 billion shillings. This money was directly given to the Ministry of Tourism and Uganda Tourism Board to attract investments into Uganda's growing tourism industry and to attract tourists from new and emerging tourist markets across the world. However, not much is being done in the name of advertising and promotions, and Uganda's tourism industry has remained largely unrepresented in many growing tourist markets like the Middle East. By promoting itself as a popular tourist destination, Uganda can also attract substantial foreign direct investments into its growing tourism industry. Currently, Uganda receives just 1.4 million international tourists compared to just 600,000 the country received in 2006. The government aims to attract over 4 million tourists by 2020, thereby making the tourism industry one of the major contributors to Uganda's GDP. Undoubtedly, Uganda is an emerging tourist destination for travelers from the Middle East. Given Uganda's diverse landscape, flora and fauna, and its national parks, the country enjoys large potential for the development of nature tourism. It has wildlife safaris, gorilla tracking, adventure tourism, bird watching, and cultural tourism. It has mountains, the source of the Nile, and the Great Lakes. The country has also won accolades from various international travel publications. Lonely Planet named Uganda its top destination for 2012, and National Geographic Traveler selected the Virungas as one of the 20 must-see places for 2012. Figures from the UN World Tourism Organization showed that Uganda tourism has grown strongly since the turn of the century, with numbers of visitors growing fivefold between 2001 and 2010. Uganda's tourism industry offers excellent opportunities for investments, especially in the hotel industry. We asked the experts about these opportunities.
What are the investment opportunities available for foreign investors in Uganda's booming tourism industry?
There's still a lot of opportunities, especially in lodges in the national parks, in hotels in upcountry, even hotels in the city. We don't have enough beds that we can boast of, like to really hold big conferences. And I believe the opportunities both in building new hotels, but also in improving and training people that are working in these hotels. Because in hotels, what is important is not a building, it's the services. And I believe there's an opportunity even in setting up like a training school in this country.
The demand growing, there's a need for supply. And therefore we've seen from the growth projections that we have, the growth numbers that have ensured, we've also seen a corresponding amount of investment. In the last 10 years alone, we've opened over 40 properties in the country, and not just small properties, big properties, big names. We're seeing a large number of big brands coming into the country. But what is critical here is that therein lies an opportunity. You know, where there's demand, there's need for supply. We've seen the growth of small budget, medium to high end growing. We've also seen a corresponding number of apartments, lodges, and equally the need for services to come through. Very good restaurants, international cuisine, service delivery, managerial engagements from very good service providers. That number is critical right now, and we feel very strongly that going forward we need more brands.
About 12 national parks in Uganda and about 10 game reserves, and all these accommodation is still lacking. That's why when you go to a national park, accommodation is expensive because we don't have enough beds. So this is one of the areas that is available for investment for hotels, for people to come and put up hotels in the national parks. Again, Uganda is a beautiful and well-endowed country. Most of these attraction areas do not have accommodation, which again is an opportunity for all investors looking to invest in the sector. So as somebody who is on the ground, as somebody who visits these hotels regularly, I see the need for more hotels. I also see the opportunities for more hotels, and most importantly, the need for the big brand name hotels. As a country, we are now looking at the MICE market, so meetings, incentives, conferences, and events. For this to be a success, we need to have enough hotel rooms to be able to accommodate the large number of delegates that we're looking at being able to come and tap into the MICE market. So Again, this is a very big opportunity for the country to put up a conference bureau whereby now we can be able to attract these big international conferences. We already have the tourist attractions, we already have the infrastructure in place. Now, if we had the quality of hotels, the 4-5-star hotels that are needed to be able to bring in these big conferences, that is an opportunity for us as Ugandans, as a country, and also for investors who are now looking at Africa as the new frontier.
There's a good return on investment. I think we are one of the countries that once you put your money here, you'll be assured of a good return on investment. So I call upon all those people, I know United Arab Emirates are people with money, to expand their horizons. Many times people don't know about Africa. So they hear about Africa and all they get is bad publicity, bad news, disease, HIV and all that. But that happens everywhere in the world. But they should learn that in Africa they are good people. It's a beautiful country. And sometimes people take Africa as if it's just one nation, especially those European countries. Many times they think Africa, one bad thing happens to Nigeria and they think it is in Uganda. But Uganda is my country. It's gifted by nature. You will not find any climate. I know, I fly to United Arab Emirates every day, but you can't find such climate anywhere. So I urge them, and I know that we have a lot in common with our brothers and sisters in United Arab Emirates as countries that we are developing. And I believe that what I've seen in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, can be done in this country if we just make connections, the right connections. And the best way to make connections is to go and see for yourself.
As our team headed back to Dubai, we carried back with us memories of this beautiful land and the warm hospitality of its people. A journey we thoroughly enjoyed and would most certainly recommend to our readers and followers.